we have some great news for Tesla that I want to break down why the timing of this great news is almost perfect, right? The way that it's just planned out is almost perfect. However, before we go ahead and break down the great news, I also want to cover some of the bad news, right? Because I'm a bad news and then good news type of person, at least just for me, right? Now, the bad news is very minor and I want to go ahead and cover it. So what we're seeing is that for January in China, new EV car sales are down nearly, almost 50%, which is bad. Now, this would serve as a catalyst event. However, I see this more as FUD, right? This is why it's very important that whenever you see information, you want to go ahead and look a little deeper into that information, right? So what's going on in China? Well, the reason why I see this as FUD is because it's not just Tesla cars that are down, right? It's all, electric vehicle and hybrid cars that are down in China for sales in January. Now, there's a specific reason, right? Now, the main reason is simply because, well, there's two main reasons, right? The first main reason is because we had the new, I can't even pronounce it right, the Lunar New Year happening, or that took place in January, which obviously shaved down the month from, 30 business days or 30 days to 20 days, right? So that's definitely one, way to look into things. But the bigger, impact on this is that the EV tax credits in China just recently ended. So of course, that's going to make a huge difference for EV car sales. And this is just FUD, right? Because any news article that's saying, oh, this is bad for Tesla may have just a very biased opinion on Tesla. This is not just Tesla, this is all EV cars, right, in China. And I'm sure this is a short-term catalyst event. One of the things I mentioned in the Push and Profit program is that catalyst events, although they're great to trade off of, they're very, very short-term, right? What I like to look into is the macroeconomic climate, monetary policies, alternative data, and fundamentals, right? How's the company actually doing? Now, obviously, catalyst events can, really transpire and shape the way the fundamentals of a company work. However, this is just short-term news, and I'm sure things are going to pass over and be fine for not only Tesla, but other EV cars in general. Because, of course, we can't just hate on other EV cars. Other EV cars actually help Tesla, right? And I talked about this in a separate video, but right now is not the time to talk about that, because right now is the time to talk about the great news and the timing of it and why it's perfect. So the great news is we have, Investor Day, March 1st for Tesla, and we had Elon Musk, make a tweet that he's, unleashing Master Plan 3, where he's going to go ahead and break down, or pretty much present, how this is actually going to present, sustainable and, energy for the future of Earth, right? So this is good news, right? Obviously, this is a great catalyst event for Tesla. And before we go ahead and speculate, well, what is Master Plan 3? I want to go ahead and talk about why the timing of this is actually perfect, right? Well, this is happening March 1st. Now, we don't have another FOMC, meeting until, the end of March, which is actually pretty good because, one of the things we noticed from the last rate decision that was made and also the last speech by the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is that every time they speak, of course, there's going to be a shakeup in the market. There's going to be volatility. But right now, there's going to be silence. So obviously, if we have just good news coming out for Tesla and we're in a upward trend, well, guess what? This is going to be very bullish for Tesla. There's no other noise that is hurting Tesla right now, and there's a lot of anticipation of the great news. With that being said, though, I do want to go ahead and hop into my laptop and talk about a few other concerns that we definitely want to pay attention to, especially if we're going to want to look into Tesla stock. Now, before we go ahead and log into my laptop, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so we're looking at Tesla on a 4-hour time frame using the Weibo platform, and we've seen that Tesla has rallied up very strongly in the last couple of months, right? We had a little bit of a resistance around this area of 182. We see that, we touched that area, we got rejected. In the past, it was also a resistance. However, after we broke above it, it seems that we're climbing up. Now, many individuals believe that once a stock breaks above a area of resistance, that, sometimes it just is overbought. However, that is not always the case. In fact, more often than not, when we see a stock break an area of resistance, a stock will actually go up further, right? So that's just one thing that we want to, talk about when we're looking at the technicals. But I also want to highlight something I thought was interesting. So we had, Biden, just really speak very well of actually making moves to boost EV use in America. Now, whether or not you like Biden or not, this is obviously a great news for Tesla. It's very optimistic for the EV space, and guess who dominates The EV space, well, it's Tesla, right? And then also the profit margins, if we, talk about the fundamentals, they had the highest profit margins comparable to all the other legacy vehicles, especially when we look into, the EV space, right? And then once you add FSD, right, the software, I mean, then it just blows profit margins for all the other companies out of the water. So that's just something that we want to really pay attention to. Now, what are some things that we want to look forward to going forward? Well, I mentioned that we have the FOMC meeting happening in March, and this could honestly cause some scare, some fear in the market, as we may see that happen again, as we saw recently. If we just take a look at the QQQs and we take a look at yesterday, just on a 5-minute time frame, we saw that the anticipation of Jerome Powell's speech, we rallied up. As soon as he started talking and had more of a hawkish stance, we saw obviously the overall Nasdaq trickle down, and then towards the end of the day we did rally up. So obviously there's a lot of volatility once we have the FOMC meetings, or we have someone from the Fed speaking. However, we're not going to have that noise for a while, and for a while we have good stuff happening for Tesla. We have optimistic news. We have Biden saying good things at Tesla. We have Investor Day coming. So these serve as great catalyst events. And then also, if we take a look on the volume profile, what we're seeing is that once we go up above these levels, above like the 202 level range, we're actually seeing less volume relative to price. So what does that mean? Well, when there's less volume relative to price, if there's more buying pressure, well, guess what? It's going to shoot up higher because there's just less volume. The stock is just going to shoot through the order books. And that's why, as Tesla was going down and there was less volume relative to price, well, Tesla stock, was just rapidly going down. Look at this. We have these gaps going down very fast. And you can see that again as we were going up. We see that when there was a lot of volume relative to price, well, that's when the stock kind of moved sideways. There was like supports and resistance areas, consolidation. But as we trickled into this area of less volume per price, what do you see? You see the stock rallying up. Well, we just broke above this area of volume to price, and we're headed towards this area of lower volume to price. And so if there's optimistic news, what does that mean for Tesla? Well, that means a lot of good news going forward for Tesla. So that's just something that I just wanted to point out there. Now, if you guys are interested in learning on what it is that I look into when it comes to, looking into trading and investing in the market, make sure to check out the first link in the description of this video. It's going to be a link to the Push and Profit program, where there is actually an 80% off discount code. All you got to type in is VDAY. This is probably the biggest coupon of the year, so definitely take advantage of that. You get to be part of the program for only $80. Lifetime access. You have access to my daily briefings, where every single day I cover what stocks I'm looking to trade and the reason why, and I give you guys market updates. So definitely take advantage of that if you want to be a part of the team. And with that being said, guys, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about Investor Day for Tesla? What are the speculations, predictions that you have? And what do you guys think of Tesla in the near-term future? Obviously, in the long-term future, I am very bullish, but you guys can let me know what are your thoughts in the long-term future as well in the comment section below. With that being said, guys, hope you're having a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys on this next video right over here. Take care, guys.